Does natto activate both autophagy and mTOR? What does Chat GPT say about it? By Natto King. That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. Before, I uploaded a video called Does Natto Inhibit mTOR? Should You Eat Natto on the Weekend by Natto King. Right. So, what is mTOR? Now, you know autophagy, right? So autophagy is the cellular recycling mechanism that is the key for longevity. Yeah. So now everybody's talking about autophagy. It's, you know, it's a buzzword. And then, yeah, you need to activate autophagy if you want to live longer, right? Okay. So mTOR is the major regulator of growth. Yeah, it is kind of the opposite of autophagy. Yeah, it is usually activated by high protein diet. Yeah, so when the autophagy is on, mTOR is inhibited. Yeah, and when the mTOR is on, autophagy is inhibited. Yeah, so you cannot have both of them on at the same time. Yeah, one or the other. Yeah, whether to activate autophagy or mTOR. Yeah, right. However, regarding natto, it's really strange. Yeah, because a proamine called spermidine is said to induce autophagy, and natto contains it. And it seems to contain the highest amount of spermidine among spermidine-rich foods, right? So that means natto activates autophagy. All right. However, natto is a protein powerhouse. Yeah, it contains about 18 grams of protein per 100 grams of natto. So it contains a high amount, right? And a protein activates mTOR. Okay, so that raises a question. Does natto trigger autophagy or mTOR, right? Yeah, so this time, yeah, I asked this question to AI, Chat GPT, okay? And here is the answer I got. Okay, so natto is indeed an interesting food as it contains both components that can activate autophagy and mTOR. It's important to note that the body's metabolic processes are complex and often involve multiple pathways that can be activated or inhibited under different conditions. Eating natto could theoretically activate both processes, but not likely at the same time. After eating natto, the proteins it contains could promote the activation of mTOR, which promotes growth and inhibits autophagy. However, spermidine in natto might promote autophagy when the body is in a fasted state or under condition of cellular stress. In summary, natto could contribute to both processes at different times and under different conditions due to its unique nutrient profile. However, the overall effect on an individual's health would also depend on the rest of their diet and lifestyle, as well as their individual metabolic state. Right. Okay. So basically, natto activate both autophagy and mTOR, but at different times. So first, it activates mTOR, and then later, when your body is in fasted state, it begins activating autophagy. Yeah. Right. So the further explanation, the transition from the fed state to the fasted state isn't instantaneous. Rather, it's a gradual process that happens over several hours. After you eat, your body spends roughly 3 to 5 hours digesting and absorbing food. This is commonly referred to as the postprandial state or the fed state. During this time, your body will be producing insulin and using it to shadow nutrient into cells, thus activating mTOR and stimulating processes like protein synthesis. After this period of digestion and absorption, your body enters the post-absorptive state, which lasts until 8 to 12 hours after your last meal. This is when your body transitions from burning ingested calories to burning stored energy like body fat. And it's often considered the beginning of the fasted state. Then, around 12 hours after your last meal, you are generally considered to be in a fasted state. During this time, your insulin levels are low and your body starts activating processes like autophagy to clean out cellular debris and repair damage. Keep in mind, these timelines are approximate and can vary from person to person based on factors like metabolism, the size and composition of your meals, your physical activity levels, and more. So the switch from fed to fasted state usually starts around 8 to 12 hours after eating, but the exact time can differ. Also, remember that to experience more pronounced autophagy, longer fasting periods are often required, such as those found in intermittent fasting regimens of 16 hours or more. Right. Okay, so that means it is better to eat natto for dinner if your purpose is to induce autophagy. Let's say you finish your dinner at 7 p.m., you switch to fasted state roughly from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. If you practice intermittent fasting from 7 p.m. to 12 noon, 12 noon the next day, for example, you can bring this spermidine hack during your fasting window. If the fasted state begins around 3 a.m., you can have it work during the latter part of your sleep, which is even better since autophagy is triggered more during your sleep. That means you can have an early dinner to ensure this spermidine's work from natto, like completing it around 5 p.m. So then you'll be sleeping after 12 hours if you go to bed at 11 p.m. and get up at 7 a.m. Anyway, having natto for dinner is a good idea, both for the spermidine hack and natto kinase hack. Remember natto kinase? Yeah, natto kinase works for 10 to 12 hours after ingesting and begins working around after 4 hours of ingesting. Right. So that means it doesn't matter so much about the time of dinner. Yeah, I mean, you can finish your dinner at 5 p.m. That's okay. Or you can finish your dinner at 7 p.m. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, because for natto kinase's work, maybe it is the optimal to finish eating your dinner at 7 p.m. Yeah, then 4 hours after that, the time you begin sleeping, yeah, natto kinase start working, and it continues for 10 to 12 hours. That means you can make natto kinase work most of your sleeping hours. Yeah, if you complete your dinner at 7 p.m. If you complete your dinner at 5 p.m., however, it probably helps more for the spermidine effect, but not as much for the natto kinase effect. If you want the natto kinase to work during your sleep, yeah, and it is quite important for the blood circulation because often during a sleep, because you don't ingest any liquid, yeah, blood kind of becomes stiffer, yeah. Anyway, fasting is the key autophagy activator. Now, so including spermidine, and there are some other nutrients that can trigger autophagy. So autophagy can be stimulated from food, but that is smaller compared to the effect from fasting or exercises. So the main things to activate autophagy is still fasting and exercises. So you don't need to worry too much about the food intake in terms of autophagy activation, but it can help. It probably add the effect. Yeah. So for example, if you eat natto, probably the 16 hours fasting becomes like 70 hours fast. The effect will be about the same. That kind of addition. Yeah, you can get additional benefit by utilizing all those food, right? Yeah. But anyway, the best thing is to combine it with your intermittent fasting and exercise routine and everything. And to know more about how to practice intermittent fasting to activate autophagy, please read Ikigai Bio-Hacking based on Japanese natural health. Yeah, because it talks about Hare and K intermittent fasting and explains in detail about autophagy and mTOR and how the cycling between the two is critical for longevity. Yeah. So you don't want to activate autophagy all the time. You do need to activate mTOR at certain times too. And it also talks about fasting lengthen autophagy. So how long do you need to fast to activate autophagy, or what stages of autophagy? It changes. So you need to understand it too to take advantage of this natto hack, right? And the book is available on Amazon both as Kindle and print-on-demand paperback. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. And please leave your comment. Yeah. When do you eat natto? Okay. I'll see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai.